Hello, Verbling. My name is Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about relationship vocabulary. We're going to be describing some relationships, looking at other people's answers to certain questions, and eventually talking about some slang terms in terms of endearment. Julian, welcome to class.
Hi, Michaela. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm just having a ball. I have 3 classes today and 3 classes tomorrow. So, just hanging around my house. After this, I plan on making some food and have some soup.
Oh, really? Relax or not relax? Maybe.
It's a rainy day out, so I'm taking the opportunity to just kind of like hang around and do nothing most of the day.
Oh, it's cool, no?
I love it. Maicon, welcome to class.
Hi, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you today? How are you, Maicon?
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We're good. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to ask you guys some vocabulary questions. These should be pretty easy. They're a warm-up. So I'm going to ask you relationship vocabulary. Maicon, you're up first. And I want to know, if I had a sister and my sister had a daughter, what would I call that daughter? What's that daughter's relationship to me? So my sister's daughter.
Nephew.
You're very close. Nephew would be the term if my sister had a son. Then it would be my nephew.
It's a girl. Sorry, I forgot it.
That's okay. You got nephew, which is kind of a tough one. So thank you for giving us that term. And Marcus, welcome to class.
Hello, Michaela. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Marcus. So Marcus, I have a relationship vocabulary question for you. And most of our class is going to be pretty advanced, but we're going to go over some kind of basic vocabulary right now. So if I had a sister and my sister had a daughter, what would I call that daughter? What is she to me? My sister's daughter.
Auntie. No.
Well, she would call me aunt. What would I call her?
I don't know, teacher.
It's a tough question. You're not the only person who was stumped by this question. Adam, how about you? Do you know what I would call my sister's daughter?
I would call her niece. My niece.
Niece, yes. So we have really different words for this in English. We've got nephew for the male and niece for the female. All right. So I don't know why, but my screen is blocked up a little bit. I'm just going to reload and hopefully be back super soon. Give me just a couple seconds, and while I'm gone, I want you guys to think about this situation. If my mother remarried a different man, someone who was not my father, and they had a child together, what would that child be to me? So my mom had a child with a different guy. What is that kid to me? Now, while you guys think, I'm going to reload so I can see the screen and everything properly, and I'll be back in a second.
Stepbrother?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know, my computer computer is being so bizarre right now. I tried to X out of the screen so I could reload it, and it won't let me. But that's okay. I will answer that it is not stepbrother. Not stepbrother.
May I step in?
What'd you say?
May I step in and answer, maybe?
So it's not step anything.
No. I said, may I step in and
Oh,
answer?
yeah,
Give my
of
answer.
course, of course. Go ahead.
Brother-in-law.
Nope, not brother. Not brother-in-law. Brother-in-law is a different situation. So it's not stepbrother, it's not brother-in-law. If my mother has a child with a different guy, does anyone know what that's called?
Half-brother.
Half-brother, yes. Excellent. Half-brother. So we've got half, if it shares half the genetic material with me, it's my mom and someone else. It would be a stepchild. Can someone tell me what is a stepchild? Like, what is a stepbrother or a stepsister? Does anyone know?
Isn't that where, like, the in-law would have a child they brought into the marriage? Like, my mother marries a new guy and that new guy has a kid already?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my computer is being such a butt face today, and I don't know why. But I got cut off right as someone was trying to tell me what a stepbrother is. So what is a stepbrother? If I have a stepbrother, how do I get that?
Isn't that just where, say my mother married a new guy and the new guy's not my blood, but he has a child and he
Exactly.
brings a child in?
Yep, so if your mom or dad marries someone else who already has a kid, that's your stepbrother or stepsister. Step something, anyways. You can also have a stepchild, so my mom could have a stepchild if she married someone who already had a kid. What about brother-in-law? Someone also mentioned brother-in-law. How do you get a brother-in-law? Does anybody know?
Brother-in-law is the brother of your wife.
Okay, it could be the relative of your wife, for sure. There's actually a couple ways you can get a brother-in-law. So, if you are a man and you get married to a woman, let's say, and she has a brother, then it's your brother-in-law. But there's another way to get a brother-in-law. What if you never get married? How else can you have a brother-in-law?
Your sister's husband.
Could possibly be your sister's husband. Sure, if you have a sister and that sister is married to a man, then you would have a brother-in-law that way. Any kind of marriage will give you a lot of in-laws. Father, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. I mean, you could go so far as to say uncle-in-law and cousin-in-law, although people don't usually use those terms. They would just say uncle and cousin. But you could say uncle-in-law and cousin-in-law. All right.
¿Qué es palabra? Cuñado? Cuñado?
In Spanish?
Sí.
Yeah. So
Cuñado.
brother-in-law in Spanish? Yeah. I am not a Spanish expert. I speak a little Spanish. I know the word cuñado, but not a Spanish expert. So if anyone who is a Spanish expert wants to reply, that would
I am a
Wonderful.
Spanish expert. Yes,
always have people around willing to help out. Thank you very much.
it's cuñado.
Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the basics of different relationships, we're going to change a little bit, and I'm going to ask you guys to answer some questions. But for the first one, I'm going to show you someone else's response first, and you guys are going to get a chance to model your response off their response. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to have someone read this for us. Can you guys all see this? Is this large enough? Should I make it a little larger?
Yes.
Okay, that should be good. So I have some words highlighted, or some words in bold, that I think are good words when talking about relationships. So the question is, or the prompt is, tell me how you met a close friend or partner. And I'm going to have a couple people read this answer before I ask you guys the same thing, and hopefully you're going to be able to use some of this vocabulary in your own answer. Let's have, is it Lucy? Or
Hi.
Lucy?
Lucy.
Lucy, okay. Lucy, would you do me a favor and read the highlighted paragraph that answers the prompt above?
Okay. We got to know each other at university almost 4 years ago. We were in the same department initially. We were just good friends and used to go out in a group with our other friends. When Jose went back to Spain for the holidays, we would keep in touch with each other. Then, one year, he invited me to come to Spain with him, and that's when we fell for each other. So, you couldn't really say it was love at first sight, as it had been over a year since we'd met. But we really hit off, and say it was love at first sight. Oh, sorry. By the time we got back to university in September, we were able to tell all our friends that we were in a relationship. What I like about José is that he's very kind, funny, and supportive, and we're really well matched in our interests. He hasn't popped the question yet, true. We've talked about getting married, and I think we are both ready to settle down and have children. We will just have to wait and see. All right?
Thank you very much for reading that for us. Wonderfully done. Do you guys have any questions on these vocabulary words before I ask you guys to describe some relationships of your own? Our words are get to know, just good friends, keep in touch with, fell for, like in a romantic way, love at first sight, hit it off, which does not have to be romantic. That one can be friendly. You can say, me and my best friend really hit it off, like we got along right from the start. To be in a relationship, which usually means it's romance. To have a relationship is different than being in a relationship. In is romantic, just to have a is not romantic. And well-matched, popped the question as in propose. When you ask someone to marry you, the phrase, the slang term or phrase for that is pop the question, and to settle down. All right, any questions on that vocabulary? Okay, I want you guys to use at least 3 of those bold phrases when you're describing to me a person that you have a relationship with. And ideally, it's a person that you didn't know since birth. Like, don't tell me, it wouldn't work really well if you tried to tell me about your mom, because, you know, it's not like you met your mom somewhere that you can remember. You met your mom too early. So try and go for a close friend, a partner. Could be romantic, but it does not have to be. And I'm going to ask David to go first. Tell us about someone you know.
Okay. I'm going to tell you about a friend of mine called Jose also. And we got to know each other at the school. It was 35 years ago. And really, I can't remember this first time we met each other, because it was...
Was it in a class?
Yes, it was in the classroom. And I remember he invited to me to his birthday, and I went to his home, and he celebrated a party. And from this moment, we started to be friends. We went to the same school, and then we both of us changed it to the high school, and we chose the same high school. And after that, we went to the university, but we decided to study different careers and different grades. He started to study medicine and to become a doctor, and I started to study chemistry. And unfortunately, due to our jobs, we couldn't see every day or every week or every month, but we always try to keep in touch with each other, and now we still keep in touch, and we meet from time to time to have lunch or dinner with our families, because now there are more people. It's not just two friends. Now there are two families, and I'm married and I have two children, and he is married and he has two children. And I think it's very beautiful to have a friendship that lasts almost 40 years.
Wow. That's awesome that you've been able to keep in touch with him, even though you guys have different jobs and busy with family stuff. That's awesome.
Yes, and when we call each other, it's like the time didn't go on. I think if it was 40 years ago. It's incredible.
That's very cool. I'm glad you decided to tell us about your friend. Thanks, David.
Welcome.
Julian, you're up next. You got to use at least 3 phrases and tell us about a friend or a partner or someone you've known for a while.
Okay. I knew her in a trip that I did in maybe 4 years ago. It was a relationship, a love between us. That it's a great friend, and we knew in Bolivia when I traveled traveled by the Titicaca Lake, and she's Colombian, and I am Colombian too. And in this point, I crossed with her, and we traveled around the Peru for 2 weeks, and we know several places, and we talk a lot, and we eat different dishes of the Peruvian Peruvian culture and country, and then we returned to Colombia, and we stay in touch for these years. But now she lives in England because she knows a guy, and she married with him, and she goes to live in England. But maybe once times on a month we talk by Skype, and we talk about life, about our dreams, maybe to do again other trip like the trip to Bolivia and Peru.
Wow, that sounds like an
And
amazing experience to have with a friend. Traveling together like
yes,
that?
yes, was a great experience, amazing experience, because we remember this trip that's the best trip in our lives, because it was awesome. It was magical, this travel, and the our relationship, it's only friendly, and it's the best a lot, because we stay in contact. We stay in contact by this say that by that, because we only we are only friends.
Awesome. Yeah, sometimes it's easier if you're just friends. That way you don't have like too much emotions. It's easier to keep up with someone. There's not that many emotions involved.
Yes, and sometimes it will be more natural, the relationship,
Yeah, totally.
more friendly, more cool.
All right, thanks, Julian, for explaining to us the friend you met in Bolivia.
Okay.
And Lucy, you're up next. Use at least 3 of those phrases and tell me how you met someone that's a friend of yours now, or an acquaintance, or a romantic partner.
Hi, teacher. Nothing special, but I met my boyfriend in the office. Um, for him, it was love at first sight, but he was my boss. 10 years after I decided to go to the restaurant with him in 2024, 2024.
2004? Not 24,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sorry. And we are together until now. We are very happy, but we decided to live in separated homes. It was great. I prefer my my private life in my home, and we are very happy. I am very happy to live like this, to live separated in
You
in
get to
separated
maintain some
home.
privacy while you get to have your boyfriend at easy access whenever you want.
What? Sorry.
I said you get to have your boyfriend easily accessible, but maintain privacy and some personal space. That's nice.
Yes, yes.
All right, sounds good, Lucy.
Okay. Thank
Thanks for
you.
telling us about him. And Maicon, you're up next. Tell us about someone that you're close with, or an acquaintance or romantic partner.
Okay, I'm going to tell about my wife. So, I got we got to know each other at a friend meeting almost uh, 7 years ago. Um, we were just friends, and some couple of weeks she called me to meet her parents. So we I don't know. Um,
So you went to meet her parents?
yes, to meet her parents.
Mm-hmm.
So after a few months, we were able to tell our friends we were in relationship. So 2 years ago, we talked about to settle down, and we are just married.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. And Marcus, are you there?
Yes, teacher. I have a problem with my connection. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're back. Tell us about a close friend or partner or acquaintance that you met in the past.
Okay. I know my girlfriend 20 years ago, and uh, I now she's in my neighborhood. I invited to go out uh, any times. And I married with she and uh, 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 one 1999, and mm, we are together uh, today. That's it, teacher.
Awesome. Thank you very much for telling us about that.
Thank you.
So while you guys were talking, I copied down about one mistake from each person that spoke, and I'm going to put them in the chat box now, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we can make these corrections before we move on to the next item that we're going to talk about today. The first one is, he invited to me. What's wrong with that sentence?
The correct is he invited me, I think, and it was my fault.
Yeah, we don't need a preposition there. So you can just say, he invited me.
Okay.
Or if you want to make it passive, you can say, I was invited by him. But only if it's passive. That's the only time you would use a preposition. Otherwise, no need. You can tack the object straight onto the verb invite.
Okay.
And thank you very much, David. All right, what about the next one? I crossed with her and we traveled together for 2 weeks. So there's a weird, kind of a weird phrasing issue in this sentence. I crossed with her. What does that mean?
I maybe the cross will be in past.
Okay.
I crossed with her and
So
we traveled together.
Now that makes it a little better, but it still doesn't really solve the problem. The problem is that the word cross here, it doesn't work very well. It doesn't mean what you want it to mean. We have a better word for this in English, not that word. Does anyone know what we could say
Okay.
instead of that?
No, I don't know.
No one else knows?
No?
I crossed some place.
What now?
I crossed some place with her. Some.
Okay, so sometimes we use cross to say like we crossed the country. You might say we went across Bolivia or something like that. We probably would not use that as a verb here. We probably would say across as in the preposition instead of saying cross. But I think
Yeah.
instead of using that in that context, some other words would be encountered, came across, or met up with. So you can say I met up with her and we traveled together, or I came across her and we traveled together, or I encountered her and we traveled together. Any of those would be more appropriate replacements for the word cross. Okay, the next sentence we have, we are together until now. Anyone know what's wrong with that sentence? We are together until now?
We have been
Yes, we need
together.
to change the tense. We have been together until now. That's actually the perfect situation to use the present perfect in. It's just the ideal one, something that started in the past and continues until now. We have been together. All right, how about the next one? We talked about to settle down.
We have talked.
Okay, that's one way to change the sentence, but it doesn't totally solve the problem. The problem is with our prepositions. We have two prepositions there, right in a row, and one is unnecessary.
The two. Sorry, go ahead.
We don't use about.
Actually, about we need, because with the verb talk, we frequently use about. We talked about English, we talked about sports, but the weird part is actually that we're using a to infinitive verb instead of an ing. So one way to solve this problem would be to say, we talked about settling down, and use the gerund instead of the to infinitive.
Okay.
All right, and the next one, I'm married with she. We've got two problems here. Does anyone know what they are?
I married her.
Yes, exactly.
I got married.
I got married would also work. Excellent. Both of those would solve the problem we have here. Okay, so on the next one, I'm going to, well, yeah, we'll do the same situation. So it's a very short answer. It's a short example answer. And then I'm going to ask you guys to answer the same question. This time, let's have Marcus. Will you read the example answer for us? And the question is, do you think marriage is still as important as ever? Tell us what you think. Or tell us what that person thinks. Can you see the answer okay, Marcus?
I read it. I read it, right?
Yeah, read the highlighted section, the blue.
Okay. Yes, I centrally is in my country. I think the problem for some people is a lack of continuity. Our relationships have their ups and downs, but some people prefer to break up rather than work at their relationship.
Awesome. Thank you for reading that for us. So that's one person's opinion. And again, we have some bold phrases that are good vocabulary phrases. Have their ups and downs, as in good and bad times. Break up, to split apart, and work at a relationship. That one's pretty clear. So I want you guys to try and use at least one of these phrases as you answer the question, do you think marriage is still as important as ever? And this time I'm going to go from right to left, starting with Maicon. What do you think? Do you think marriage is less important than it used to be, or the same, or more important?
In Brazil, it's common. The people, uh, there is easy way to break up with something you get married. So I guess for me it's important to work at the relationship, to speak, to try to understand the other person. But here in Brazil, it's easy to just let's break up and each one follow your life. I I guess.
So are you saying that you think people don't treat marriage as important as it used to be?
No,
All right. Thank you very much, Maicon.
thank you.
Marcus, what do you think? Do you think people treat marriage as important or not important?
Yes, I think this is very important. Uh, uh, is for women uh, is very important. I don't know, teacher.
So, do you think it's changed a lot over the past 20 years or 30 years? I mean, are more people getting married? Are less people getting married? What about divorce?
Uh, no. I don't agree. As breakup. I don't know, teacher. I don't understand your question. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We're talking about the importance of marriage. So, do you think it's an important part of life or not important? Like, if someone's not married, do you think that they can still have an equally great life as a person who's married?
Yes. I think this is very important. Uh, uh, this principally for a woman because uh, woman have dreams um, and
Oh no, we lost him. All right, we'll come back if he comes back. Lucy, what do you think? Is marriage still as important as ever?
Yes, teacher. I think it's very important once for a while, once in the life. But I think we need to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So if the relationship is complicated, I think the couple needs to talk or separate because the our life is very short. So I think we need to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think it's very important for women and men to have marriage once in the life. If the engagement or uh, is good, okay for forever. But I think both needs to be happy.
Mm-hmm. All right, so marriage is important, but happiness is more important.
Yes.
All right, good conclusion, Lucy. Julian, what do you think?
Well, I think the world had been changing in the last years, and the marriage had been developed bad reputation, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's not that important the other years, but the people prefer live together without any compromise and have the possibility to run off at any time. because it's more easy for both parts.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that makes the people thinks the lose the real meaning of the marriage, that it's
Mm-hmm.
working about the relationship. Maybe the title is it's a less important here. It's the meaning of this title, is the meaning of the
Mm-hmm.
marriage. Yes.
All right. I like that answer. You think it's important, but not so much the name. So as long as you maintain the relationship, even if you're not, if you don't call that person your wife or your husband, as long as you maintain the values, it's the same.
Yes.
All right. David, how about you?
I agree with Leanne. Uh, I think marriage is important, but now there is a different way of marriage because many couples decide decide to live together without
Mm-hmm.
get married, and I think the marriage it's only to put your sign in your signature in a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with this answer we can read here because I think there is a lot of commitment because I see every day many couples that are going to break, and it's many couples that are they are married and another couples that they only live
Mm-hmm.
together. And I think we have to think about it and perhaps to learn from our parents and grandparents. And I think it's very important to take care about our relationship and to work to make this relationship strong along
Mm-hmm.
the time because I think it's easier. It's easy to give up and to say goodbye, but perhaps we have to think about what we are going to lose if we don't take care about our relationship. And this is harder when you have children. When you have children, you
Oh
don't.
yeah, definitely. Very complex then, huh?
Yes, if you don't have children, I think it's easier to say goodbye. Uh, Perhaps it's difficult to deal with your mortgage if you have one, uh, but the problem when you have children is you have to
Mm-hmm.
share your time and the children have to move every week or every day from one house to another house. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is a big problem.
Yeah, definitely. So we're not going to answer this next one, but we will read the example answer. And the question is, what do you think is the ideal time to get married? Now, of course, if you really think you want to answer this question, you are welcome to give your response. Maicon, will you read the blue example answer?
Okay. Personally, I think you should wait until you've found yourself first. Decide if you want a career, perhaps do some traveling. You should do this before tying the knot. Although, if you fall head over heels in love, plans like this can easily be forgotten.
Thank you very
Is it
much.
is it the heels? The
Yeah, head
pronunciation?
over heels, exactly.
Heels. Okay.
So we've got two expressions here. The first one, tying the knot, means to be married. And falling head over heels means when you fall in love and it's just quick and very extreme. It's a expression that we use. Does anyone really want to answer this question or should we move on? This one is, what do you think is the ideal time to get married? Does anyone have a strong opinion here?
Teacher, I have to leave now.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for joining us and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye,
See
guys.
ya.
Bye.
I
All right. Does
I
anyone
want
else
to.
want to? You want to
I want
answer?
to answer.
Go
Yes.
ahead. What do you think?
I think there's no answer. You have to wait, and perhaps when love knocks your door, you you will know the correct answer. But I think
Could
we
be.
can't put a date for
Hmm.
this kind of things.
Yeah, hard to know. Hard to know
Yes.
the real answer. It might be different for everyone.
Yes.
Does anyone else want to answer that question? When is the best time to be married?
I think that there is no perfect time to marriage. It depends person and depends the time, the the situation that a person lives in. Because for many people, the perfect times will be after do a studies and maybe get a financial um, um, stability. But
Hmm.
for people, maybe will be at the most important things in her life, and when the people achieve this, maybe could get other things in their life.
Hmm.
Maybe it's very personal this answer for the question.
Hmm. Definitely. Lucy, do you care to weigh in on this topic?
I think it's difficult to answer because sometimes the couple have been together for 3 months, for example, and
Hmm.
get married, and the relationship is very good. And sometimes the couple have been there for 10 years and they decided to get married, and the marriage is very fast, or they break down very fast. So
Hmm.
I think it depends on the situation, and I think the couple needs to get married when the woman is pregnant. In this case, I think uh, they have to get married.
Got it. Okay. Awesome ideas, guys. We're going to go on to the next one really quick. It's our last question. Is it important to keep in contact with our friends when we're in a relationship? So, a lot of people you see, they fall head over heels in love with someone and then they like totally forget all of their friends. And what do you think of that? We've got one sample answer. David, go ahead and read the sample answer, would you? This one here.
Okay. Absolutely. It's so easy to drift apart from your friends when you fall in love, but I think both partners should try not to lose touch with their friends. That's the best way to have a healthy relationship with your partner.
Mm-hmm. And let's have Julian go first and tell us what you think.
Absolutely, it's it's very important to stay in touch with with your friends when you are in a relationship, because maybe you need time to share with other people and to talk with other people with your friends about your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because where you focus only in your relationship, in your partner and
Mm-hmm.
your lover, maybe it's not the best word to describe it, is it's wrong, it's not healthy for the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because you need you you can't lose the world. You can lose your dreams. You can lose your friends because the your friends give you the other perception about your life and maybe other ideas to 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 drive your relationship and to solve troubles or maybe to do with your partner
Mm-hmm. All
and
right.
and give you to your partner some freedom for do other things.
Yeah, having a little bit of freedom is nice, even if you're in a relationship.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
important.
Thanks, Julian. Lucy, what
Okay.
do you think?
Yes, I agree completely. For the healthy relationship, I agree. Um, it's complicated when one of the person is jealous or it's complicated. But so I agree to keep in contact with their friends is very important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, David, what do you think about keeping in contact with friends? How can you do that, and is it important?
I agree. I think it's very important to keep in touch with friends.
But it's very difficult. So, what do you think would be a good way to maintain that relationship?
Um, I think a good way is to give um, both to have both of the um, sorry. For example, I think my wife needs to have her own space, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to have my own space. And my friends, in my case, my friends are parts of this particular space for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to go out with them from time to time and to have a beer or to talk about something and to do crazy things that I think I I'm not going to do with my wife. And I think it's this is different for men and women. And for me, when I have the opportunity to to spend some time with my friends, it's like I were a child again, and I we we like to do uh, stupid things, but we have fun with these things. And if I do these things with my wife or my friends' wives, and they are not going to understand us. And I think it's better to do in our space.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I totally agree. I think friends are important to keep. All right. So let's go down to the next part. It's about vocabulary. And this is a quick one. You're just going to order them in the degree of connection. And by that I mean, if it's a term that does not have very much connection, like maybe they're not very emotionally involved, you'll put it at the beginning, like that would be like a 1. And then if you think it's someone that you can't live without, like, and these are all romantic partners, so if you have a romantic partner that you're married to, it's a higher degree of connection, that would be more like a 10. So our terms here are significant other, partner, lover, admirer, paramour, boy or girlfriend, sweetheart, companion, my ball and chain, my crush, my better half, my steady, and my squeeze. So I'll give you guys a minute to put them in the order you think makes the most sense. in degree of connection, and then we'll talk a little bit about the words. So if there are any of these terms you've never heard before, are not familiar with, we will talk about them in just a minute.
So, yo tuve que morir a los yo era secretaria y ya no me queda ay, ¿qué pasó? Pero yo era súper feliz. Y por él,
All right, guys, what do you think? What are the terms with the least degree of connection? Things that are not very close.
Admirer?
Admirer, yeah. Admirer is a person who really probably has not even talked a lot to the person that they like. You know, it's someone who is at a big distance from that person. So I think that's an excellent example of someone who doesn't have a huge connection, but not huge. What's another word here that is a small degree of connection, not a very large degree of connection?
I don't know. I have a question. What is paramour?
Paramour is a person, it's similar to lover, but it's usually for something prohibited. So maybe your lover is married already. And it's not kind of like you're not supposed to be with that person, but you just can't help it. It's like an affair,
okay.
Yeah. Or maybe like your boss. If you're not supposed to sleep with your boss, that would be your paramour.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the other end. And what do you guys think are the terms that have the highest degree of connection?
Lover.
Lover definitely is higher than admirer, which we were talking about before. Kind of a middle range. So you're not married, but you are seeing that person romantically. Maybe it's not your boyfriend or your girlfriend, but it is someone you see romantically, so it's a bigger degree of connection. Can someone name one of those that's even higher than that? Higher than lover? More connected?
Yes, my better half.
My better half. So that implies that you're probably married to that person, or if you're not married, you're at least in a very steady, committed, monogamous relationship.
Teacher, it's missing sex.
What's it missing?
What?
It's missing sexy.
Sexy? Well, sexy is an excellent word to describe relationships, but sexy is an adjective and not a noun. So what I've made a list of here are things you could call a person, like a noun. That person is my lover, my admirer, my paramour, my sweetheart. Those are all nouns. And we're a little bit past time, so I'm going to give you guys my list really quick. Starting from the least to the most, a crush or admirer is a small degree of connection. Companion or paramour is a little bit more. Lover or squeeze is a little bit more than that. Steady, significant other, sweetheart, partner, boy or girlfriend is a little bit more. And the last two, I think, have the highest degree of connection are ball and chain and better half. All right, any questions before we wrap up class today?
No, teacher. Thank you.
No,
Thank you
no,
all for
I don't have anyone.
And I hope to see you guys again soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
aunque habíamos estado